Okay, hopefully this works. Okay. Yay! I think I figured it out. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Woohoo! I've got live chat. Okay. Thank you, honey bunny. So I know the chat's coming through. That would be awesome. Please.
Is it live now?
Yes, live now. Okay. Everything's working. Yay. And now my phone doesn't fall down. Okay, if you're here and hi honey. Yay.
Does that work?
Chat's working. Yay. Alright, so forget everything that happened before this, and we're just going to try to start this all over again. I am JJ with Odins Eye Art, and this is obviously my first live. Fourth time's a charm, apparently. I wanted to do a video, real quick, a live video, just to be able to answer questions that people might have. I know, especially in the Wired Tree group, people have a lot of questions, and it's helpful to make videos, but I figured this way I can answer your questions live as you have them, and be able to answer you, you know, clearly and concisely. So right now I am working on a 14-inch wall-mounted tree. This tree is attached to a ring, which I'll show you in just a second, and I'm just winding some leaves up. I know some people did have some questions about this, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Now that the chat's working, I can. If you're watching and you have a question, just let me know. Just type it in the chat. I'm keeping an eye out. Hello. So again, if you're joining the chat, yes, your question? Why am I doing a live video? Thanks, dude. So right now I am working on a 14-inch wall-mounted tree. I attached all the leaves yesterday, and I wound all of these last night. So, and I covered the entire ring right here with the brown wire because I like the way it looks. And right now I am pulling and winding all of these. This is one that I pulled out. So I am going to keep winding as you guys ask questions, and I know a lot of people are starting to make their trees on rings that are wall mounted. So, and honestly, they seem to sell pretty well. Thanks, Haley. I went to a show a few months ago, and I had 7 of these for sale, and I left home. I got home with none. So they do sell very, very well. And, you know, they can be pretty easy once you get the hang of it. It takes a little while to get the hang of it, but you figure out things that work for you. And how do I get them to stay together? I'm going to show you. So when I wind up my leaves, like that one I just wound, right? I'm pulling out each of these and just winding them into coils, like winding the coils into little spirals like that. And then what I do is I'll finish a bunch, usually like 5 or 6 at one time, and I will squish them together until I like the way that they look. I literally crunch them together, and that's how they stay, and they don't wiggle at all. The back will be pretty flat because, again, this is a wall-mounted tree. You can see the back's pretty flat. But yeah, as I go, I just start kind of mashing them together, just to make sure that they hold, and that way they kind of feed into each other a little bit as well. And then once I'm done the whole thing, once I have all of these pulled out and all mashed together, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do it all again and just make sure that everything kind of mashes up as well as possible, and there's a nice flow to it. So that's kind of how I do it. I hope that answered the question. If not, let me know. And one question that I've been getting to is when you're attaching the leaves to the tree, how long should the wire from your branches be that are coming off the edge? I keep them about that long, maybe 2 inches long, just enough to be able to wind the leaf onto the branch. And sometimes, I said in an earlier video, this particular tree has about 120 branches that come off of it. I wind 120 leaves. I don't use all of them because there's really just not enough room, you can see here. So I might add 1 leaf to 2 branches, every couple I'll do that. So that's kind of how that works. And then also what I like to do, I don't have an example here, but I'm going to end up taking leaves that I've already wound that aren't going to be attached up here, and I'm going to add them throughout here, and I'm happy to show you how to do that as well. So I usually add like 4 leaves to each branch here, and then I just wrap them around, pull them, and roll them. And it just adds something to it, it's just so it's not missing something. And then when it's done, so the whole tree is going to stand like this. So there's that. And like I said, you're going to have all the leaves that are in here. But in here, I'm going to do something else. I might hang something. I might put a swing somewhere. I haven't totally decided yet, but I'll figure it out when the time comes. I actually started this one a few months ago before I got COVID, but I got so busy doing other stuff, it's just kind of been hanging out beside me, and I haven't touched it because I've been making a lot of ear cuffs and crowns and like chainmail. I make a lot of like this kind of stuff too. So I've been busy, especially this month. It's been really busy. And I still have to go to the post office at some point today, but I figured I would make this video really quick. Elizabeth, are you here yet? If you are, let me know. So I'm just pulling out my leaves like this, and then at the ends, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to take my pliers here and just attach to the end and just pull that out a little bit too. Okay, so I pull out a bunch and then I just pull out the ends all at one time. Again, if you have questions, just let me know. I'm just going to keep working here and talking. That's what I do. I just started making wire trees. It was just a couple of years ago, but it's something I always wanted to do, and now it's become a full-time job. So right now I sell, I really mostly just sell on Etsy. I used to do shows, but I'm getting too old for that. So, and I do better just selling through Etsy anyway, and just do a lot of like online marketing, things like that. But it's been really busy, and if it's something that you're interested in doing, it's well worth it. You just got to remember that you've got to have a little bit of a mind for business too, because you do always have to market yourself and market what you sell. Have any questions, let me know. I'll apologize if I get interrupted. I'm in my studio right now. My cats do not like it when I close my studio door. Do I stick myself with the end? Well, if you can tell, my hands aren't that pretty anymore. um, I have a lot of calluses. The only time, honestly, I stick myself with the ends is when I'm using yucky wire. So I have been making a lot of ear cups lately, and for like Comic Cons, Renaissance fairs, Halloween, stuff like that, and right now I'm offering choices in color. So I have a one color of wire that is not the Benny Create wire that I love Benny Create wire. So this particular wire, it's a rose gold. I'll show you. It's mean. It just bites me all the time. So these are the ear cups that I've been making. They have little trees on them. But this is, what is it, Anazeus wire or something like that. This went right through my finger the other day. And yeah, that hurt. So I don't love that wire, and it's really slippery anyway, but I don't really ever poke myself with the Ben and Create wire. This is all 20 gauge wire, but again, look at my fingers. They're pretty calloused up, if you can't tell. If I'm not sleeping, I'm working, so that's the result. I'm always doing something with my hands. You can see as I'm winding these leaves, I'm really not even looking, I'm just feeling. So, and if you're interested in how I'm rolling them, I'm happy to show you, so just let me know. I just like them tight. When I first started, my leaves were pretty loose, and I hate loose leaves. It drives me crazy. So, now I do them quite tightly. But yeah, so that's the end here on this one. And it's the end right there. But it's not going to poke me at all. I just push it in. After I roll up the coil, how do I hide the part where I connect to the coil? Alright, so I'm going to show you that. So I was a little bit confused about that question. So if I don't answer it exactly right, Elizabeth, just ask me again. What amount of coils should you have to use in a bunch? I'm going to show you that too. So, let me just get this coil done and I'll show you. For me, what I do is I pull a bunch out at one time, right? Like I think this time I pulled out maybe 6 and then just rolled all the 6. I'll pull that one out too. Once I have all the ones that I pulled out, all coiled up, that's my bunch. So I just start bunching it like that until I move on to the next one. So like you can see this one right here is kind of sticking up a little bit because that's going to be part of my bunch. And then these 3, when I'm done rolling them, then I'm going to start smushing everything together. And how I hide the part where you attach the coil to the branch, I think you're talking about, let's see, these parts here. Can you see that? This is where I attach my branch to my leaf. So it's about when my tree, before I add my leaves, those are hanging off my tree by about 2 inches. And then I attach the wire to that, and I'll show you what my leaves look like before I attach them, because I always have a bunch left over for reasons I'll tell you. So that's about the length of the wire that I'll have hanging off of the tree so I can attach it. And then once it's all wound up, I'll cut it. I'll cut it about there once it's all wound. So what's left over is about, it's, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch long, maybe even less than that, maybe under half an inch. So that's what it ends up looking like in the back of my tree. So you barely can even see them. I hope that helped answer your question. Let's see if I can pull one out a little bit. Show you. They're all kind of buried. So here's one right here. And I just clipped it, and it sits right behind my leaves, so you don't even see it. Did that answer the question? I hope that answers the questions. If not, let me know. Have any more questions, let me know. So I was saying before, what I do too is like this one has about 120, I used about 120 pieces of wire on the entire tree. So at the ends, I needed to have about 120 leaves to attach it to, but I don't usually even use that many because I'll I'll attach a leaf to every wire, but sometimes I'll attach one leaf to 2 wires just because it gets so busy in the back. So what I'll do is I'm going to have a bunch left over, like I have a bunch left over in here. I'm going to add them to my tree so my branches don't look so bare as we go down. I'll show you what I mean as soon as I'm done with this one. Sorry, teenage daughter's calling. So when I'm done, I'm going to start adding leaves through here. And I usually add about 4 to a branch. Does that make sense? And I'll show you how I do that later. Okay. Bear with me, my daughter's calling me. I'm making the wire with bunches of leaves on both sides of the ring. Yep. Do you just bend the 1 inch up and inside because that branch will not be attached to anything? I probably... Alright, so I don't know if this helps. This might answer your question. So if I'm doing a tree that's going to have branches on both sides, I'm going to wind my my branches over here. So I'm going to make it kind of seamless. So almost like, kind of like this. This is the bottom of my tree. Okay. Does that make sense? And then when I'm using these rings, these are floral rings that I got at Michael's. They're silver. They're kind of ugly. So I wrap the entire ring in the wire that I'm working with. So this whole thing I wrapped yesterday. This is all brown wire. So there's no silver showing at all. Even if there was silver showing, I would rewrap it in silver because I don't like the way that the silver looks. Did that answer your question? I feel like I didn't answer that question well enough. Damn, it took you an hour. I'm sure it did. So a little trick to that, I don't know if this is going to help you, but something that, it's funny, you learn things by mistake, right? So I take my wire, like in this case it was, where's my brown wire? It's in here somewhere. Oh my goodness. I'm going to yell for a second for you guys. My husband, so bear with me. Hey Eric, can you see what Bryn wants? I'm trying to do a live and she's calling me. Okay, sorry about that. Teenagers. Alright, so this is the wire that I use right here. This is what I use to wrap it. So what I'm going to do, I'll pull out a whole bunch and then I'll wrap it around my hand a bunch of times like that so that I'm not having all this wire that's going to get tangled everywhere. So I'm literally just wrapping it based on that. Okay, so I'll do this a whole bunch, attach a little piece, and then just keep winding it around. And yeah, it takes a while. It all takes a long time, doesn't it? I'm a little bit obsessive, so I tend to just sit and work until it's done, and I get lost. I listen to my audiobooks, my music, my podcasts, all that stuff. And I'm fortunate enough to have built a studio here in my house a couple years ago. So I have a door. People can't bother me when I'm working. Probably Haley. Are you really that interested in watching me, Haley? My Haley May. Am I overlapping when I add the next piece? No, I'm not. No, you know what? I have a little ring, so I'll show you. I'll show you what I do. So just for example, pardon my messy hair, by the way. It's usually kind of like this, but it is what it is. Almost 50, I don't care. All right, I'm going to move that over for a second. Just show you what I do here. So I'll pull out a bunch of wire like that. Cut it. Take my hand, wrap it around like that. You need me on TikTok, Haley? I got rid of TikTok for a reason. So I'm going to take this, the wire, and I'm going to wrap it around my ring. Just take the end of it and wrap it tight. So I do that. And then I'm just going to push it together a little bit right there. Just make sure it's nice and even. And push the end down. And then I'm going to kind of push it in a little bit, just to make sure it's tight so it doesn't slide. It will slide, but not as much as it would if I didn't do that. So now I've got the wire that I wound like that. And then I'm just going to wrap it around. Wrapping it through. So this is much easier than just working with one huge piece of wire that's just going to get tangled constantly. As I say that, I get tangled, right? So let's see. Last tangle, I should say. That's not true, Haley. You're very talented. You don't give yourself nearly enough credit, honey. So I'm not going to wrap this whole thing, but I'll show you. So if for some reason, let's just say I ran out of wire, which is going to happen when you're wrapping a huge ring like that. No matter how much you cut off, you're just never going to have enough. So, let's say I wrap that much and I have that much left and I have to wrap the whole thing. So I'm just going to wrap this around like that. Make sure it's tight. Make sure it's clamped in there. Okay. So then I have that piece on there. I'm going to take more wire and I'm going to do the exact same thing I just did. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to wrap it around. And I'm really particular when it comes to gaps. So I don't like gaps at all. Don't like gaps, don't like things loose. They get nice and tight. So I'm just wrapping and wrapping and wrapping around. Okay. So just so you can see, I'll just do it a few more times. Show you. Okay. Okay, so that was what I had before. That's what I added. So I'm literally going to match it right up. So I take both ends. I hope you can see that. I don't know if you can. Take both ends and I roll them until they match up. And then, so I have no gaps at all. Roll until they match up. And then I use a little elbow grease and just push them together like that. So there's no gap. So that's how I do it. Maybe, might need a little bit of refining here and there, but that's pretty much it. So I hope that helps. Elizabeth, let me know if it doesn't. Tree back. My daughter cleaned my studio last month, and you'd never know it looking at it now. But...
Bing bong.
Okay, good. I do like all of my marketing online, so chances are, even when I'm running around town doing whatever I'm doing, I'm watching my phone because I need to. I need to for business. This is my life now, and I love it. And if I can teach anybody or help anybody, I'm always going to, because if my whole thing is, if I can do it, you can do it. And if you have the, if somebody has the willingness to learn, I'm more than happy to show and answer any questions I can. Gotta show the love, baby. All right, do we have any more questions? Like I said, I'm always watching my phone too, so if you have a question for me, you can message me here. You can message me on Facebook through our Wire Tree group. You can just message me on Facebook, that's fine too. Just JJ Sawicki is my name. I think most of you know that. And I will always help. And I love the Wire Tree group because I'm always learning new stuff too. It's amazing to me how people do things so differently. And, if one thing works for someone, it might not work for somebody else, but it might. And it's just like with me, when I'm learning something, I'll watch 10 different YouTube videos trying to figure out until I'm like, oh, I got it now. That makes sense to me. Especially with my chainmail stuff. And like I said, I'm a little bit obsessive, so I will keep working and keep working and keep working until I figure something out, or it has me in tears, and then I'll keep working until I figure it out. Because that's how I'm wired. Okay, so I just wrapped up all of these right here. You can see they're sticking out a little bit. Okay, so I wish I could get my camera to not do portrait mode only so I could show you a little bit better. I don't know if you can see the bottom, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to smoosh them all together. I literally smush them. And when I'm done with the whole tree, I'm going to go back and I'm going to re-smush everything. Because I don't want it to look like it's just a whole big bunch right here. I want them to look like bunches. So I'm going to start molding them around like that so they look like bunches. How long are the wires you're using for coils, and what size dowel are you using for the coil? So that's actually a really good question. My wire for the tree, obviously it's going to depend on the size of the tree. For something like this, each coil is about 4 feet long. And for dowels, so $1 million question about dowels, so forgive me if I'm long-winded. When I'm making chainmail, I do use dowels. I use all kinds of different dowels. I've got a bunch of different, sizes and shapes. And these are wood, so I don't recommend using wood dowels for wire because it gets stuck, which I learned the hard way. I also have a bunch of little small ones, but what I use, and it was actually Merlin who gave me the idea because he's a freaking genius. I'm using crochet hooks because they're metal, and these are tiny. So this is a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. This is the one that I use for all of these leaves. And when I'm winding them, again, it's 4 feet of wire, so it's not going to cover the whole thing. I probably should get dowels that are, longer and I just haven't done that yet because I'm lazy. So I use this one. I go to here. I still have a bunch to wind. I'm going to pull it off. I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to keep going. So that's what I do. So that's it. And if you're using metal dowels or the crochet hooks like I use, this one's smaller and I have even smaller ones around here somewhere, the wire just slides right off. If you're using wood like these, it's going to stick and it's going to be a pain after a while. You're going to get really sick and tired of having to yank them off. So chainmail, that's different. I have a process for that, but with the wire, metal every time. I think that answered that question. Oh, you make Tree of Lives on your channel too? Yay! I'll make sure to subscribe to you as well. And thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh. Dumping my coffee. Okay, we have any more questions? Yeah, those are great too. Those are really good. The wood just, I don't know. I mean, I have wicked arthritis in my hands, believe it or not. And so I try to make things easier for my hands. But I don't feel it when I'm doing it. I feel it after. And I work a lot. So I'm always, I always have wire in my hands. So let me know if you have any more questions. I'll give it like another minute or two and then we'll wrap up here. But like I said, you have questions, you feel free to ask, and I am always happy to answer if I have the answer. And if I don't, I will find the answer for you. Like I said, we've got some amazing people in our Wire Tree group. If you're not a member of the Wire Tree and Sculpture group on Facebook, please join. We're not like any of the other ones out there. Merlin and I have worked very, very hard to keep the integrity of the page and really just make sure that it's for people that want to share, want to learn, want to love, you know. There's no, it's just a fantastic group of people that have been able to come together, and I couldn't be prouder of that group. And we've only had it for, it's only been a few months, and we're almost 7,000 members strong. There's no spam in the group. There's no mass sellers in the group. We don't allow any of that. There's no negativity in the group. And Merlin and I both, we monitor everything very closely every day. So, again, very proud of what we've accomplished there and what everybody's helped us accomplish, and we're just proud of the group. The one you're making now, I'm not sure how the branch is attached to the ring. So, I think you're talking about the top of the branch. So what I did, let's see, I don't have another, you know what, this might, oh, bear with me 1 second. They don't drop stuff here. So this is a sun catcher that I've been working on a while ago. I haven't finished it, obviously. So basically what it would be is these branches here would attach to the ring here. So I'd take them, and it's probably not a good example in that leaf, but I would take the branches here and here, and I'm just going to wrap them around twice, like that. Wrap that around twice, like that. Doesn't really matter how they look, but I don't know, I'm a little picky, I guess. Pull it tight. So that's how I attach them. And then, I guess it doesn't really matter, but, and then like the leaves would attach to these right here. I hope that makes sense. So when I attached all these branches, it had 120 of these all hanging off the edge. Did that answer your question, Elizabeth? Yeah, back to how you make the coils. A lot of people use a dowel and a drill. And I will do that for some stuff, but not, I just don't like to use it for trees. It's just my personal preference. Some people make gorgeous stuff doing it that way. I just don't like to. That's all. Just first preference. So your branches are all sticking out before you add the leaves. Yep, absolutely. All of them. So I had 120 branches sticking out of this thing yesterday, and I attached all the leaves last night. And I've just been working on the winding the leaves since yesterday. I hope that helps. Do you have any questions about the bottom at all? I'll just show it to you really quick, just in case you have questions. I wish I had another one to I could show you, but like I said, these sell so fast. My husband and I jokingly say that we have a certain spot that I put them on the wall and I take pictures, and it's like the secret spot. Because every time I put them there, it sells in like 20 minutes. So that's where this one's going to go. So, that's the bottom. Right there. For this one, anyway. I should probably do a video just showing like tools and stuff that you can use to work with, and kind of makeshift tools too. Oh, thank you so much. I don't know, we all have our own styles, but if you're not on our YouTube group yet, I would highly recommend it. It is, again, Wire Trees and Sculptures. And it's good for your soul, for sure. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. That's really sweet. You made my day. If you guys see, like, there's a video on there that I don't have yet, because I haven't been making that many recently because I've been so busy, which isn't a very good excuse, but if you want to see a video about something, just let me know. Oh, sure, I'll take a picture and I'll send it to you on Facebook. But yeah, you have any questions, just always feel free to ask, okay? Never hesitate. I'm always happy to help. Okay, let's see, 2 more minutes and I'll close it up if we don't have more questions. I said you have questions about trees, you have questions about other stuff. I have a bunch of other trees that I've made as well. This one is just a wall-mounted one. Even if you have questions when it comes to like shipping, because it's all things that we learn as we go along, but it, little speed bumps that we kind of have to figure out, like how to ship internationally, all that stuff. So I'm happy to say after years I have that problem all worked out. I have a whole shipping station in my studio. You're welcome. Alright, so I will subscribe to your channel as soon as I finish up here, which I'm really looking forward to. And Elizabeth, I'll take a picture of the bottom of this ring, and I'll send it to you on Facebook if you don't mind. I'll send it to you through Messenger, so just check your spam if you don't get it right away, okay? But I think that's it. So if you guys have any more questions, again, reach out to me here, reach out to me on Facebook. I'm always on. Like I keep saying, if my eyes are open, I'm working. So I will always be around. Alright, finish that one up. Alright, let's just show you how far I got in here. That's not how you do it, JJ. Okay. So, this is what we've got so far. Okay. So just gonna finish those up. I'll add a bunch of leaves in here, which I'll probably make a video on how to do, because it's different than how you do things up here. The bottom, and then figure it here. Probably tell you something or whatever. it. So thank you guys so much. And have any questions, let me know. And I will talk to you later. Bye.